This question could be significantly more challenging depending on what amount of muffins you decided to go with. 12 was definitely easier to work with than the 10 or 14. So I will start by solving for how much flour you would need for 12 muffins. So right now, the important thing that I know in this problem is in order to make 8 muffins, I need 2 cups of flour. So my ratio of muffins to flour is 8 to 2. So for my 12 muffin situation, I'm actually going to take what I know about this 8 to 2 and I'm going to reduce it to lowest terms. So if I were going to reduce that, I could make 4 muffins and have 1 cup of flour. Now, I'm sure you can immediately see that 4 and 12 are kind of nice numbers to work with since 12 is a multiple of 4. So if I wanted to determine how many cups of flour I would need for 12 muffins, all I'm going to do is multiply both of these numbers by 3 because that would take my muffin quantity up to 12. So then that would mean I would have 12 muffins, and for flour, I would end up with 3 cups of flour. So I would change my cups of flour for 12 muffins from 2 cups to 3 cups of flour for 12. All right, next up we'll do 10, although doing either 10 or 14 kind of required the exact same knowledge. So the nice thing I know about 10 and 14 is they're both even numbers. So if I could multiply something by 2 to get there, then that would work nicely. The problem is when I've got this ratio of 8 to 2 or 4 to 1, 8 and 4 do not, neither of them go into 10 or 14 evenly. So, what I decided to do with those instead is to actually bring it down further. So, I knew that I had an 8 to 2 ratio, which I can decrease to 4 to 1, but I can actually decrease that even further. So, I'm going to divide them both by 2 and decrease it further. So, that's going to tell me that for every 2 muffins I want to make, I would need half or zero point 0.5 of a cup of flour. So now this is going to let me solve for 10 as well as 14. I'm going to apply the same concept, muffins. So I'm starting with 2 muffins and half a cup of flour. I want to get to 10. So I know I need to multiply both of these by 5 in order to get there. So 2 multiplied by 5 gives me 10, and 5 multiplied by 5 gives me 2.5. So if I want to move to 10 muffins, then I am going to be requiring 2.5 cups of flour. Let's take the same idea and work with 14. So we're going to take that same idea, and that idea was now we're working with the ratio of we know 2 muffins requires half a cup of flour. So 2 muffins to 1.5 cups of flour. In order to get to 14 muffins, I now need to multiply my 2 by 7, and that's going to take me to 14. So I also need to do the same to my 0.5. And what that's going to leave me with is 3.5 cups of flour that are now necessary in order to make 14 muffins. So you can see how 10 and 14 just are not as friendly of numbers as 12 is because I'm able to reduce my 8 to 2 ratio to 4 to 1, and that's much easier, whereas the 10 to 14 ratios require an extra reduction and a little bit of working with decimals in order to find out the exact amount of flour required.